So, a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Straight Talk. I'm Martin from Sober is Fun, alcohol-free events and comedy clubs. It's a Wednesday night, and that means it's time for another Straight Talk. And I have another guest who's come on to give their time and have a little chat with us. And it's about time I introduced him, sitting there very patiently. Good evening, Mr. Boyz.
Very good evening to you all. Hello, how are you, Martin? You all right?
I'm good. Geoff.
Good.
Really good to see you, buddy.
I tell you, I'm so glad this all works, because usually if I'm involved in anything like this, anything to do with computers or anything, it all goes wrong. So, I've been just praying that everything's going to be fine. So we're in. So we're all right for now. I won't touch anything.
This has been a project, Geoff. I'm not going to lie to you. Since I decided to do this, I started on my phone, I progressed to a laptop, and then we've got a little bit fancy, and we've actually got there now. So look at that. Quite impressive.
Well, it looks great. It's great. And it's great to be here. It's great to be with you.
Thanks, Geoff. And yeah, I've got to say, thanks for coming on and agreeing to do this chat, because it's quite a bizarre story, because I've known you now. I was trying to think last night how long it was the first time that I met you.
Yeah.
It was 22 years ago. That is
Was it
when
really?
you was doing the jonglers within the Butlins. Remember them?
Yeah, the Butlins thing that would have been 98. Yeah. Summer of 98 that was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was working down in it was the Minehead.
Yes.
And I owe a lot to you, Geoff. You have changed my life.
Well, thank you.
Because you taught me
yes,
at 4 in.the morning how to cook pasta in my kettle.
Yeah, I know. I did do that, didn't I? I know you. Well, and it worked. It was horrible. It tasted foul, but when needs must.
When needs must. And the crazy shit that we used to do.
I know.
The first time we met.
Yeah.
That was some evening, but we don't really need to go there, I think.
No.
Your journey, I didn't realise that you was on this marvellous journey of sobriety along with myself. I can't remember who actually told me, but I heard from somebody. And then as soon as I heard, I was in contact, because the last time I saw you, that was at the London Alcohol-Free Comedy Club, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
And what a night. That was a good night. It's just,
great.
It was a really good show. That venue, it's intimate. Comedy does work well in there, but with social distancing, how are you going to do it?
Well, this is the problem, isn't it? I mean, we didn't see this coming at all. Perhaps we should. I don't know. But I was performing with Shappy Kasandi the other night, and she said a great thing. She said that comedians are recession proof, and we are. We when a recession hits, we'll still get work, but we're not virus proof, and we will probably be the last ones to get up there and do our job again. And until we can all come together in one big group, then we just don't have any work, and it's tough. It's really, really tough. I don't know how it'll work. We need a virus. We need a vaccine for this virus, clearly. But yeah, the social distancing. I did a show the other night with Shappy. Was on that show. We did a show.
I saw that. How'd that go?
It was great. It was terrific. Headliners. Yeah, Simon put together that. So the room was half full, half capacity. So there was about 75 people as opposed to 140, 50 people. So it was a small crowd, but they were spaced out. It was indoors, which was great. Because the car park thing, and I did a gig up in Lincolnshire for a comedy hotspot, brilliant people, and it was on a farm, and it was outdoors, and it was great, and the rain held off. But I thought to myself, this isn't it. We can't be doing this in November. There's just no way we can be doing this. So we need to get back in. So it was great to get back indoors again, and the audience just loved it because they've been missing it too. You know,
this is it. Like, you know, I think as soon as people are starting to do it. As soon as, you know, more venues, because it is a massive risk. You know, I've been thinking about the Essex one that I spoke to you about getting you down for in Chelmsford. It is a big room, but I've really got to look at it. And as much as I want to do it and put it on, you know, for all of us, you know, like you said, I know there's the audience there that want to come out and have a laugh. They've been waiting and waiting, and it will work. But yeah, I'm just having to tread really carefully to make sure it's worth doing, you know?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, we need guidance. I mean, obviously, we're not getting that from the government at all. You know, lockdown, sit down, can't go out, can see your grand, but you can go to the pub. Just, you know, no one really knows what they're doing. Oh, go to school, don't go to work. You know, until we get clear guidance, we really can't start planning things. I mean, I really feel for promoters, you know, because it's their livelihood too, you know, and you know, the lighting guys, the sound guy, all of them, the bar staff, the dorm, everyone is sitting there going, when? And it's not as if we've got a date, oh, well, we'll be back by, you know, March the 2nd or whatever. So get ready for that. Fill your diaries and what have you for after that. There's no light at the end of this tunnel for us. And for many people, and it's not just for us, but for many people too, you know. It is what it is.
It is what Geoff, I was just about to say that. And as we know, except we can't change it. And when it's ready, it will be ready. What's lockdown like for you, Geoff? How did you keep yourself amused when you're used to being up on stage?
Well, you know, it came as beginning of this year. I had 2 cruises for Holland America booked in, and one of them was in fact, both of them were to Japan and China. So I was sitting in the Chinese embassy in January watching this starting to, you know, Wuhan and everything starting to unfold. And I was getting my visa sorted out. I was on the phone to my agent going, is this going to happen? Do you think, oh, yeah, it'll be fine. And it was slowly creeping up. So I was aiming to be going to the Far East at the end of February and at the end of March. So I was getting my visa sorted out. As I say, I saw it creeping up. And then the cruise ships got hit out there. The Westerdam, which I was supposed to join, was a ghost ship because it couldn't go to port. Nobody would accept it. So they were floating around in the sea, just a ghost ship. They couldn't get everyone off. So I thought, well, this isn't going to happen now. And then all of a sudden, it just bam, it was here, and everything cancelled, everything down. So luckily for us, Sarah, my partner, she still managed to get working. You know, she worked from here for a while, worked from home. So we just sort of knuckled down and got on with that. She was working here where I'm sitting, and I was sitting over there. I tell you what I did do. I bought an Xbox, right? Because I know I'm a big kid, but I bought an Xbox because I thought, well, you know, I'm going to need to fill my time with things. And I used to have one many years ago when my daughter was little. So I bought one of them, and that was a bit of a lifesaver, actually. I've been playing games. Call of Duty, right? Online with kids, right? And they go into this game like the SAS, right? And I'm going in like Dad's Army. You know what I mean? Who do you? You know, 3 seconds wiped out. You know. But,
I'm just picturing you in my head.
Yeah, just So I did a bit of that, and I live in Bethnal Green, as you know, so I've got access to the hire bikes, and I've got a key for them, so I could cycle. So I did a lot of cycling up to the Olympic Park and round there. So that was great. That you know, I was allowed out for an hour or something, weren't we? We're all allowed to go out. I loved watching the people pretending to be jogging. There was lots of them, you know. Wasn't it? I mean, all in lycra that didn't fit, and
everywhere.
And you could, but I could always spot the ones that weren't really the joggers because they had like the kind of Fosters and the Rothmans. But and trying to light the barbecue was a big giveaway. But I I did I did a lot of cycling, which was great, and I just sort of bided my time and did what everyone else did, watch the news and watch Netflix, and then Sarah had to go down. She went off down to her mum's to work from there because it was easier to do that. So I got to decorate the place, which was great. That took a couple of weeks, so I kind of managed to do things like that. So yeah, it wasn't too bad, but
But what a blessing that we're not drinking and had to go through with that in lockdown. And I'll tell you something, Geoff. Like you, I was sitting here watching stuff on TV with my girlfriend, and it used to come in my head thinking, because I don't know about you, but I would never have enough. This is the thing, and I would have to constantly be going back out to refill and blah blah blah. And I just think for people that like a drink to get into that line where it becomes a must, that for a lot of people during lockdown, I think it really must have pushed a few to the edge.
It must have been a nightmare for excuse me, for a lot of people. I like yourself was sitting there, and I would say to Sarah on many occasions, thank goodness I'm not drinking, because I don't know how I would have coped. I really don't. Like yourself, it just didn't stop. So there was no, I'll take a break today. It was all day, every day. So I don't know how to cope with that. And the pubs being closed as well. I mean, I would go to Sainsbury's, and some of the guys that I used to drink with years ago when I was drinking, over 5 years ago now, they were sitting in the park drinking, I mean, I joked about that just now, but the reality was that these guys were sitting there and they were standing there holding their cans of lager, and they were standing there as if they were in a pub. They weren't sort of hiding it in a bag or, that kind of thing or whatever. They were stood there in groups as if they were standing at a bar, which was very bizarre. But that was what they were doing, and that's how they coped with it. So I count my blessings that I'm not there anymore. And gosh, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be sitting here if I was still drinking.
And just going back to when I heard, there was a period of time when I used to sporadically see you. I think in the whole of that amount of time that I've known you, I just used to bump into you at the odd show, etc. But I never knew how, because we were so good.
We were brilliant.
What we were doing, we're very clever people, and I could mask it really well, like I'm sure you could. And and then it just gets to that stage when you just busted inside. And for me, it was just consequences, just one after the other, and that mask I just couldn't keep it up anymore. But when I heard about you, I was like, I was just made up. I really was. What made you? Mate. What made you? Where did you get to with Geoff?
Well, not at all. Ask away. It was. I was like yourself. I was a very good drunk. I could. I didn't understand why people didn't take a drink on a Monday. How people could get drunk on a weekend and then stop until the next weekend. That didn't compute to me. I had to carry it on onto the Monday and the Tuesday. So my whole life was alcohol. And I was lucky because I was in a job in my 20s and my 30s and into my 40s was where I was, in clubs and pubs and doing shows and traveling, and alcohol became part of my life, became, my sole goal. It was like to get a drink. I could go from Liverpool Street Station and get on an aeroplane at Stansted, and I could tell you exactly where you can get a drink all the way to the door of the plane. That's how I planned it out. So that's what I was doing, and I thought that was normal. How crazy is that? I thought sitting in the pub on my day off, with a hunchback over a pint, listening to crap from people either side of me, I thought that was normal life. Sitting there doing that, standing outside having a cigarette, going back in, joining it again. I thought that was what everyone did. I didn't realize that. No, actually, that's not what everyone does.
No.
And then I started to realize that I perhaps should stop. It was affecting my career big time. It destroyed a lot of my career, the early part of my life, part of my career got wiped out by alcohol. And I got known as the guy who's always drunk, you know, even though I could still hammer it on stage and absolutely be brilliant. And a lot of comedians would say to me, how on earth did you do that in the state you're in? You know, so that was the other thing, is that I kept getting work because I kept doing the job. But it became health issues. I got ill, and you know, as we get older, our bodies change, and then I started to get upset, depressed, and I realized that I was an alcoholic. And I once I admitted that to myself, that was it. I could now make a change.
And what a relief to actually, once you accept that and embrace that, right? And you start hearing, and I never knew it was an illness, alcoholism. You know, I really didn't. But it wasn't until I heard, and it was described to me, and then it was like a revelation, Geoff. That's why I can't stop, because once I put the first one in, I'm off. You know, it was just revelation to me.
I tried to stop in 2008, and I managed a year. And then a very close friend of mine diagnosed with cancer and passed away. And when he was in St. Joseph's Hospice, we were drinking, and it was Jack Daniels. And I went, oh, I'll be all right just having a. Of course you're not, you know. So the first one hit, and I was back on it, and I was drinking again, and it was lesser than it was, but then it just, boom, I was back, and I knew it, and I was so disappointed, and I was so angry with myself. But I thought, well, I know I can quit. I can do it again. I've done it before. I'll do it again. And then it was 2012. Then it was 2013, and the depression hit again, and it was like, oh no, we're back. So it was again, right, you've got to do this. You've got to do it. And so 2015, at the beginning of 2015, I thought, I've got to stop this year, or I'm going to die. You know, this is going to kill me if I don't. You know, I'm going to lose everything I've got so far. I've already lost a career that I could have had. I know that. That's all down to booze. I was stepped over because, he's just the guy that's drunk all the time. And, you know, I screwed up a few times on TV. So, you know, that was gone. But what I did have, I wanted to keep, and I wanted it, you know, to progress to the next level of where I was. I couldn't do that drunk. I couldn't, because people were bored of me, and I was bored of me. I was bored of being drunk, and that was it for me. I was fed up. I was sick and tired of being pissed. Really was. I was fed up of pouring that wine every morning, and it broke my heart. My daughter would be visiting, and she'd be sitting in the corner, and I'd try and hide it in a cup, you know, in a mug, and you know, and she knew. And so 15 was the year that I made the decision, and I went to the doctor in I think it was November of 15. I went to my GP drunk. I just summed up, I need help. And he was great. And so they put me onto the Tower Hamlets alcohol team at the medical centre. And I went to see this chap, Jim, fabulous guy. And he sat down, and they did blood tests and all of that sort of thing. And he said, bring your partner with you when we have the meeting. I've got to tell you what we found. So we went along and sat down, and he said, okay, this is it. You could continue drinking if you want to, but I reckon you'll be dead in 7 years. You could be that. Or you could be one of these people that can drink and drink and drink until they're in their 80s. But you probably won't be that guy. You might be, but you probably won't be. And that was it. 7 years. 7 years. I thought, okay, that's it. So I sat there and I said, all right. And he said, well, pick a date and we'll do it. We'll do a detox, a home detox. So pick a date. So I said, okay, the 14th is a Monday, the 14th of December. I said, fine, that's when we'll do it. And I remember Sarah saying, oh, well, you know, Christmas is coming. I mean, and then we're going on holiday with blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah. And then it'll be my birthday. And then it'll be a summer holiday. And then it'll be Christmas again.
It's raining,
and I said, no, we stop now. We stop this. It has to stop now. So, and before Christmas too, if I can get through Christmas and New Year straight off, then when it comes around next year, I'll be going, oh, I've done that already. Ah, it's easy. I can get through Christmas because I've done it. So that was the plan. So we went. He came around with the Librium tablets, and I did 5 days on those. The first 3 days are pretty rough, but I was zonked. Sarah was with me for it. He came around every day to check on me, and then by the 5th and 6th day, I felt incredible. I felt, wow, I was clean. It was out of me, and I just couldn't believe how I felt. I hadn't ever felt that, ever.
No,
as an adult, you know.
It's absolutely wild, isn't it, when you think about it? It really is, because like you said, you know, the start of your journey, you know, when you were constantly working in it, like it's all you knew, wasn't it? It's what you've done. And that was my story, you know, being involved in entertainment from such a young age. It was just there, and that's what you've done. But wow, Geoff, it's amazing. And yeah, to actually start living again, there's no words. There really isn't.
There aren't any words.
There aren't. It is just beautiful. And it's, you know, like people like us telling our stories and talking to other people, you know, and helping, you know, inspire them, because there's going to be people that are going to watch this back, either on Facebook or on YouTube. And I'll be very surprised if there isn't anyone who doesn't know someone, if it's not them, that has had a problem with alcohol. And it's all right not to be right and put your hand up, isn't it? It's
absolutely. You know, I was listening to an advert for this October thing that they're doing, you know, and on the advert it was on LBC, and it was a commercial, and the guy said, you can do 1 week, you can do 2 weeks, you can do the whole month if you can handle it. And I thought, hang on a minute, if you can handle it, you know, what are you saying to people? You know, if you can handle it, if you can't handle that, then there's a problem, surely. And that's nothing to kind of joke about. Look, being off it was the greatest thing that I ever did for myself. Being clean was amazing, and feeling clean as well. Feeling physically clean was astonishing, and the weight loss and just the healthy. I started eating healthy. I started exercising. I lost weight very quickly, and suddenly everyone started to go, "Wow, Geoff, you look 10 years younger. You know, you look great."
That's exactly what I thought when I saw you, because I hadn't seen you.
Yeah. And you know, I look at some of the photos of the fat face and the blotchiness and the you know, general, you know, I think, wow, you know, I look older then than I do now. So that kept me going. I was like, okay, you know, this is, and my daughter and Sarah and everyone in my family, my mum and everybody, just so thrilled for me, and that keeps me going.
This is it.
I never want to go back there again, you know, people often say, do you not miss it? No, I don't miss that. I don't miss that at all. I really don't miss where I was. I don't think about the good times, because there weren't really any good times. There were times of survival. You know, I might have been drunk and jolly and a good laugh, and oh, here's Geoff, he's fun, you know, he's had a drink, well, you know, but that wasn't any kind of fun for me. And so I look back at that and go, no, I don't. Someone say, don't you miss a glass of wine with a meal? The ritual of that, I see what you're saying. This bowl glass comes with this golden liquid in it, you know, and you have that with your meal. But that's alcohol disguised as wine. And I can't have alcohol, so therefore I can't have the wine. Oh, a brandy with your coffee after you've been. Well, yeah, but that's alcohol disguised as brandy. It might be a different color and a different shaped glass, but it's alcohol, and I can't have that. So get that out of my system. I don't have that with that meal. Don't you miss having a pint, watching the football? Well, no, I actually don't, because, or sitting in the pub hunched over a pint. I don't miss any of that. I really don't, and I'm lucky. I know I'm lucky, because I know there are people who do. and they really do miss the alcohol. But I just say, when you feel that, when you're feeling like, you know, I really could murder a pint or I don't know, be with my friends again, just flip it over and just remember the badness. Remember what it does and where it's going to take you.
This is it. I always say I play that tape forwards. You know, I'm very lucky, probably like you. Those thoughts don't come in very often at all. But, you know, the odd one might pass if you're driving past a pub and you see a nice cold pint, you know. But it's just playing that tape forward and thinking where I ended up. And I'm just, that keeps me going as well, Geoff.
And you'll go straight back there. So remember your lowest point. That's where that pint will take you straight back, and you will not be able to stop it. You will not be able to control it. Oh, I'll just have one. No. Once that tiny bead of alcohol is in your system, it's back, and you'll crave it. It's as simple as that. You can't just have one.
No, and that is it. Once you can get that in, you know, because in sobriety and recovery, you know, there's many different types. You know, people sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. Sometimes it might take you a couple of attempts to actually get it. Others might get it the first time, but boy, is it just worth keep trying. You know, exactly what you've done to actually get where you've got and to not miss alcohol. And yeah, I get people say, you know, do you not miss it? It's not being out with the boys. And I don't miss it one bit. I really don't. I'm doing so much more with my life, sitting in my kitchen talking to you. I'm doing such, you know, so many great things, which would never happen if I was still drinking and using coke.
No, absolutely not. There's no way I'd be here surviving this virus because I wouldn't have any money. I mean, that's another thing. In 5 years, you know, I've managed to actually save a little bit of money, which, you know, I never had any money. I got my paycheck and went straight to the pub with it. You know, so I'm managing to do things like that, you know, live like an adult. No, I don't miss any of it. There are times, you know, if I'm on holiday or something and there'll be a you know, sitting around a table with people in the sunshine or whatever, on my tours, or when I was doing the cruises last year, you know, you get a flicker of, but, you know, again, flip it over and have a little look where it's going to take you. And is it worth it? Is it worth it? Nah.
And what you said about your family, Geoff, just really, you know, people don't realise, and we don't see the family illness side of it, because what we're doing, we're so selfish. It's all about us, but our poor families on the outside. But then once you get them back, and what you've got now, it's like, no, for that one,
you know, to destroy everything you've achieved for that. Really? Come on, you know, come on.
So work-wise, Geoff, what's it like being back on stage? What was it like for the first time going on stage sober?
Going on sober when I got sober, I was terrified that it would not, because you know, I would go on drunk and I would just be and I'd machine gun. That worked in my 20s and a bit in my 30s, but from 35 onwards, that kind of style was I was getting a bit too old for that kind of style anyway. So I was changing, my style was changing. And when I stopped drinking, it changed. My comedy changed. My whole demeanor on stage, my whole personality on stage was completely different. Obviously, of course it would be. It was terrifying at first, but as soon as I did one gig, and it was only one, and I came off, and I just thought, hey, that was great. You know, what was I scared of? In fact, I performed better that first gig than I had, I think, any of the ones, even the ones that got standing ovations and carried shoulder high out of the room. I didn't perform. If I'd have been sober in my 20s and done what I did, then it possibly would have been different, possibly. But it was great. It was a great feeling, and it became normal. It was like everyday life, you know, waking up without a hangover just became normal. You know, walking past the White Hart pub at the top of the road without veering into the door became normal. You just, in the first year, you get to that first year without a drink. And I came through the 14th of December 2016, and I went, I'm out, because I've done everything once without drinking. And once you've done it once without drinking, you can do it again. You know, it's that fear of, do you think I can get through a birthday without having a drink? Can I go to a party without having a drink? Can I go to a wedding without having a drink? And that's the fear of the first time. So once you've done that once, you've done it, you've beaten it, you know? And why should you have a drink the next time you go to a wedding?
Exactly.
Because you went to the wedding without it last time, so you can do it again. So once you've done everything once, I felt that was me out. So, you know, as I say, coming through that door of the 14th of December in 2016, I went, wow, I'm out. Then let's do this again. And after 2 years, Mike Gunn, I know you spoke to Mike here, and Mike Gunn said to me at the comedian's Christmas party when I was, I think, 2 years. Yeah, it was 2 years. And he went, oh, you're out, mate. You're out. You're fine. You've done 2 years. You'll be fine. You know? And that was enough to hear that from him, you know, to go, great, good, okay.
That's what you want to hear from someone. You know, we know it's not about time. It's not about time. It's one day at a time. No. We know that. But when you hear, you know, with people achieving numerous years, you know, double figures of years in sobriety, it's what we need to hear. We do need to hear it. I know it's not about that. We know that, as I said, but we need to be inspired that it can be done. It can be done. And life just gets better and better. Just the opportunities, things that, you know, come your way when you're being a good person. And I'm all into my universe at the moment. And, you know, what you give off, what you let off to the universe, you know, if you're a positive person, it's going to give it back. It really is. It really is. I'm going to ask you, Geoff, there's going to be people, as I've mentioned, that are watching this back on whatever channel. If they know of someone that is struggling or they are in recovery, because there will be a lot of people watching this, what would you say? What would you recommend if they are struggling? What would Mr. Boyz say?
If you're struggling in recovery, I think it is a case of look at what you've achieved. You know, look at what you've done. You know, don't look at what you think you're missing, because you're not really missing it. You know, you're really not. Just look at what you've achieved. Look at how far you've come, and look at what would happen if you had that one glass. You know, just think about the consequences of taking that drink and what it would do to yourself and the people around you. You know, no matter how low you go, there'll be someone around to help you. There's got to be. I'm here, you know, get in touch with me. I mean, I'll be happy to do that. If you want to put my email address out, I'd be more than happy. If people want to get in touch with me if they're struggling, I'll be at the end of the phone if they need that. So, look at what you've achieved and be proud of it, you know, because you should be. I mean, only we know what it takes to do this, because we've done it. I mean, I look at those guys in the park and I think, you know, they say hi to me, but they don't like me. You know, they were my mates. They were my pub pets, as I call them. You know, they were guys that I just met in the pub. They would never come around my house, but I thought they were my best friends. They weren't
pub pets.
Guys when you're in the pub. Pub pets, yeah. And I know, and I see them and I'm pleasant to them and they wave at me. Oh, but I know they hate me because they're jealous of what I've done and they're not ready to face it themselves. You know, so I feel for them. So what you've done, I would say to someone struggling, what you've achieved is magnificent, and it should be celebrated, and it should be celebrated with positivity and good thoughts and power and motivate yourself to move forward and not go back. There's nothing back there for you. You've left that. You've ditched it. You've cut the string. Move on, and remember that there are people there that will help. That will, you know.
There's plenty of people, like you say, just reaching out. There are so many people. It is just about talking, isn't it? But it sounds so simple. Like I couldn't do it at the end. I had to let the consequences get to that stage, and
Yeah.
it's yeah. So if you are struggling, anybody that is listening, please do
Well,
reach out to us. Drop us a
please,
message.
please do. And I'm more than happy to help you. And and remember, you've been at your lowest. You've been there already. Why go back there? Because you know that's where that'll take you. Picking up that glass, that'll take you right back to there again. And you come up here. Why are we wanting to go back down there? So come on. We're all right. We'll get through it. You'll do it.
Yes. Love
because
it,
you
Geoff.
want it. You don't want to go back.
If you want it.
Yeah.
If you want it.
And that's the thing. You've got to want to quit. Those guys in the park don't want to quit. They don't like what they do. I can see it clearly in their faces. They don't like standing in the park with a can of beer, behaving as if they're standing at a bar. I mean, it's ludicrous what they're doing, but that's the drink they take from there. They can't put that down and just go home. They have to do that. They know that that's wrong. They know that they've got a problem, but they won't admit it and they won't face it. And I'm afraid that they're going to be there until they drop, and unless they want it. And if they want to change, then they can do it.
Yeah.
I can do it. I mean, anyone who knows me and remembers me from those days, he'll never quit. I told myself, I can never quit, and I did, and I surprised a lot of people, and a lot of people were, utterly delighted for me and amazed. Some of my closest friends just like, wow, never thought you would do it.
But this is
friends that were deeply worried about me. I mean, my best friend we were in Edinburgh at 15, and he was like, I am really worried about you. I was like, don't worry, I'm going to do this. And the next time I saw him, when I went to see him, he lives in Australia now, and I went to see him, and he was like, I can't believe you've done it. Well done. And
this is what inspires the next man, isn't it? It's when they see that hopeless, people write you off for it. And I tried to carry a professional life, and and then I had my just absolute nuts Martin inside, and I tried to keep that segregated apart. But people used to, they said to me, like they did, how the last time we saw you was doing whatever you was doing, and how have you done it? And it's just beautiful to be able to now help that next person and just, as we discussed earlier, live this beautiful life, Geoff.
And be living proof that it is possible.
It is possible to change. It really is.
And as time goes on, this new life becomes normal. I mean, to me, I don't wake up anymore amazed that I'm not drinking, because I've been so engrossed in living this life. Alcohol is long gone, and it's a far away from me now. And that I was trying to remember just today, actually, sitting thinking about doing this today. What I would have been doing, and it was 2:00 in the afternoon. And I'm looking at the clock, and the news had just finished. And I was sat there thinking, how drunk would I have been now in 2014 when I was still drinking? How drunk would I have been now? What would I have drank? And I realized I would have drank by 2:00. I'd have drank a bottle and a half of wine. I'd have been at the pub for an hour, and I would be going back to get more wine to bring home. So, oh my goodness. And that was just a day. And I was thinking and now I just look back at that and go, God, that was normal. But this is normal now. And
this is normal, and this is beautiful.
Normal. And this is the greatest thing you can have is being sober and free of it. The freedom. I don't have to go to the shop. I don't have to go and sit in the pub. I don't have to go and stand in that bar. I can do something else. The freedom that you feel when you give up drink, it's just astonishing.
If only
cycling, mate, I tell you, I can go cycling around the Olympic Park every day. I would never have done that if I was drinking wine. I wouldn't, and it's the greatest thing I ever did, and I just wish that I'd done it earlier. I wish I could have, I've cracked it, years ago, but that wasn't to be. That wasn't.
No, it's meant to be. It's brought you to where you are now, and
yeah,
we've been chatting for a while now, and I've just got to thank you now so much for coming on and just sharing the story with us, mate, and just helping to inspire that next person. And I really hope that I get to see you soon at another event. I will be in contact. And for everybody tuning in, do check out what Mr. Boyz is up to. All his social media links are on the page there. And he is a very, very funny man. And
well, I bless you. Thank you, Martin. And I do mean that for the people that are watching. I do mean that if you are struggling and you do want to get in touch, then please do. And I'd be more than happy to help anyone with getting out of this and moving forward, and just even words of encouragement or anything at all. Just get in touch. It'd be my pleasure.
Thanks again, Geoff. Lovely to see you, buddy. Really appreciate your time. So that brings us. Thanks, Geoff. That brings us to the end of another Straight Talk. We do hope you've enjoyed it, and feel free to share, to tell your friends. We are Sober is Fun, the alcohol-free events company and providers of comedy clubs with no booze. So from myself, Martin, and that man there, Geoff, take care. Good evening, everyone. We'll see you soon. Take care, Geoff. Bye, mate.
Cheers, man. Thanks a million. Bye.
Bye.